The ultimate drive to pursue and sustain a robust, proactive, productive, and dynamic leadership and system of governance to run the affairs of Lagos State was exhibited in recent engagements of the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Let's share with you those significant official engagements of the governor from the governor's office platform on the City of Lagos TV show. First, in commemoration of the International World Foods Day celebration in Lagos State, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, has reiterated his government's determination and efforts to ensure food affordability and accessibility in the state to the citizenry, as well as creating and establishing a robust, integrated plan to sustain food sufficiency and adequacy in Lagos State. Mr. Governor, who gave an insight into his administration's agricultural exploits at the Police College ground in Ikeja, Lagos, commended the state's Ministry of Agriculture, various local government areas, and farmers from various farming settlements for a fantastic display of the agricultural potentials of Lagos State.
Lagos, indeed, we can begin to show the way for urban farming. We have not a lot of land, but even the little one that we have, we're encouraging our farmers to continue to support the needs of the citizens, because we know that we need to grow what we eat and eat what we grow. But we can collaborate with other neighboring states and other parts of the country to bring all of this produce to Lagos, because the population is here. So for me, is to continue to encourage our Ministry of Agri and all of their officers, extension workers, project managers, to continue to help and hold these farmers, especially in the aquaculture farming, piggery, fishing, poultry, and all of the other areas in which we can excel. And first, we also talk about vegetables and fruits. We are also doing fairly well. So it's another year of celebration, to celebrate them, to thank them, to encourage them, and for you, gentlemen of the press, to know that farming for us is important, right? We're looking for paddy rice growers in Lagos, because we have the biggest rice mill, but we're also collaborating with other states. Our rice mill needs a lot of paddy. So I was explaining to them there that it doesn't matter the quantity of tonnage of paddy that they grow, we will buy it off them, we will consume it. So the same thing with other paddy growers in the country. And we need to begin to ensure that food is also affordable and accessible. We know that the price of food appears has gone up, but with interventions like this, with bringing markets closer to the consumers, I'm sure that all of the produce that have been brought here today will be picked up and it will be bought up, right? So part of the things that we're doing is to ensure that there is access from them. So we're building, apart from the middle level markets that we're building the largest food logistics hub in the whole of West Africa. Before this time next year, we should have finished the phase 1 of that project. It's the largest logistics food hub in the whole of West Africa. And you can go on your own independently, take a trip there and go and see the amount of work that is going on there. That logistics food market is supposed to be the central hub where all sort of foods into Lagos will come in. They have cold storage, they're going to have dry storage and all sorts. Then from there, our plan, which if you remember 2 years ago, we started with a 5-year strategic plan, is to now take them to the middle level markets. We've built 2-3 of them, we're building additional 5 or 4 or 5. So the middle level markets will now take it from the main hubs. Right, and before it now goes to the last mile, the corner shop market and the markets that all of you see on the day. So we have a robust integrated plan, at ensuring that food sufficiency, food adequacy in Lagos is secure, because food security globally is becoming an issue. And so for us as a government, we need to be able to help the markets, we need to help the farmers, and we need to help our citizens.
Let's now share with you an historical moment with Mr. Governor.
An honor to conduct the formal groundbreaking ceremony of the Lagos
Film City here in Ejiri, a division of Lagos State. To the glory of God, this site, in 2 years, in 2.5 years, will have become a site that will come and do, by the grace of God, the first commissioning of a set of infrastructure and buildings that will be here for the Lagos Film City.
Those inspiring words by Mr. Governor and the groundbreaking exercise with some dignitaries arouse and signifies the beginning of realizing a great vision to build a world-class film city in a beautiful coastal landscape right in Ejiri, Epe, Lagos. For Mr. Governor, the initiative, which is indeed a milestone that falls on the fifth pillar of the theme's developmental agenda, will galvanize the creative industry to an enviable height, thereby revolutionizing the film industry in Nigeria and indeed Africa.
And so it's with great pleasure and an excitement that I stand here before you today to celebrate the epoch groundbreaking ceremony for the Lagos Film City. Lagos, as you know, is a commercial economic nerve center. It's a city with aquatic splendor. It's the center of excellence. If it were to be a nation, Lagos would be the 5th largest economy in Africa. We are happy that everything around the creative industry starts and ends and births in Lagos. Everybody that is nobody, that is somebody in the music industry, had their roots either from Surulere or from Agege, either from Ikorodu or from Epe, either from Lagos Island or from Badagry. And this is Lagos. And so this momentous occasion marks a significant milestone on a journey towards creating a thriving and a vibrant film industry that will not only captivate the audience worldwide, but also contribute to the economic growth and the cultural development of our beloved state and country. Before coming into office, like the commissioner said, over 4.5 years ago, we conceived and we birthed our economic agenda under the team's agenda. And for the next 4 years, we've added another flavor to it, which I've called the Teams Plus agenda. The plus is to refresh it, to rebrand, and to further equip it, to ensure that there's every aspect of social inclusion. And that's why we're here today, to ensure that the youth have a space and to ensure that there's equity and there's gender balance in everything that we do. Very intentional and very deliberate. But however, in the teams and in the 5th pillar is entertainment and tourism. So it's not that we're here just because we woke up and we think we should do it. We are here because we're giving it a thought, a very, very deep, robust vision, a very deep thought process that we said, these are the things that we need to be doing. These are the things that will indeed change completely the skyline for us and the way we see ourselves. And we want to thank you that you've been working with us for the past 4.5 years. Globally, we know where this industry is. Data shows that it's available that the entertainment and media industry controls about $2.5 trillion by year 2022. Especially after COVID in 2020, right? That industry needed to rebirth and get he had to get back to space very quickly. Because one of the industries that was affected extensively by COVID were entertainment, tourism, culture, and arts industry. Because people couldn't interact, people couldn't move. So immediately after COVID, we even as a government needed to think out of the box. And we set up various funds that we used to trigger that industry. So globally, that industry has come back, and I'm told that by year 2027, it's expected that the global world GDP will have moved to about 2.8 trillion. With those kind of numbers, it is an industry that any serious-minded government, any serious-minded subnational needs to look at very critically.
And still from the governor's office, it was indeed a memorable outing at the recently held 23rd edition of the National Women Conference of the Committee of Wives of Lagos State Officials, CALSO 2023, with the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and the wife of the President, Senator Remi Tinubu, wives of current and past governors, and all other dignitaries across the country in attendance. For Mr. Governor, the theme of this year's conference, Unleash Your Potentials, was intentional, appropriate, and apt for many reasons.
For us as a government is to use this conference as another clarion call that we all need ourselves in governance. Governance is not about all of us that have been voted into a role. No, we all have a role to play. We all have a sense of duty. We have a sense of responsibility. Everybody must be on board. We all must see that we're the same coin. We're just on two different sides of the coin. And so once we appreciate and we realize that we equally need ourselves, then the job will be a lot easier on us. And I know that the women that are in this room, you are an important part of that delivery. You are the ones that hold the homes. You are the ones that hold the businesses. You are the ones that lead from front. You are the ones that ensure that even when we try to do something, you are the one that tells us all of the right things to do. And so I'm indeed excited and I'm happy that you have all turned out here in large number to come and re-energize yourself, to come and collaborate again, and to come and learn new ideas, new thought, and new ways of doing things. The 23rd edition of this annual conference have such rich pedigree to even fewer last than longer. It is therefore appropriate to thank all of the past speakers, and all of the people that have worked from the first council straight to the 23rd that we're enjoying here today. And to say that indeed, year on year, we're beginning to see a bigger, a better council conference that has been organized. The founders, from late Mrs. Mobolaji Johnson, who conceived the idea several decades ago, to our First Lady, Mrs. Oluremi Tinubu, to the wives of my former brother's governor, Mrs. Dame Fashola and Mrs. Ambode, for also taking, the responsibility forward and continue to build on what council is in here today. I want to, through you, thank the great effort of my darling wife, Dr. Mrs. Claudiana Ibijoke Sanwo-Olu, and the wife of the Deputy Governor, Mrs. Oluremi Hamzat, for all of the things that they've done, and for ensuring that the flame of council continues to fly high and continue to blow. The 23rd edition, which is to unleash your potential. What better avenue, what better time, what better moment can the ladies, the women, the mothers, the sisters of Lagos State unleash your potential? What better time than now? What better moment than now, when we have a presidency that is a Lagos presidency, that is a Nigerian presidency? What better time can we unleash our potentials as great mothers, as great women, as great supporters, as great individuals, the great potentials that God has given to you? And so, seize the opportunity of the 2023 Council Conference to unleash your potentials, to rebirth yourself, to renew your commitments at home, in your places of work, in your various businesses, and in everywhere that you find yourself. Because it's only when you do that, that those potentials can come out and you can see the fullness of what skills that God has given unto you.
And still from the governor's office, the Lagos State Governor, Mr. Babajide Sanwo-Olu, recently swore in the 22nd new head of service, Mr. Bode Agoro, following the voluntary retirement of Mr. Akim Muriokola. Mr. Governor will express his confidence in Mr. Agoro's professional competence to provide direction and leadership to the most vibrant public service, charged him to raise the bar by ensuring prompt, efficient service delivery.
On behalf of the government and our people, I extend my hearty congratulations to Mr. Bode Agoro, the new head of service, as he takes on this huge responsibility of providing direction and leadership to the most vibrant, to the most progressive, to the most forward-looking public service in Nigeria. I have no doubt in my mind about his capability and his capacity to successfully lead the Lagos State public service and to build on the legacy and achievements of all his predecessors. My confidence and the trust are predicated on his exemplary contribution and the remarkable dedication and professionalism that he himself has demonstrated. He has displayed these attributes over almost 2.5 decades now on his journey in the public service, particularly in the various ministries and departments that he has served, and more recently as the permanent secretary in the Lands Bureau. The office of the head of service, especially in a cosmopolitan state like ours, carries on it a lot of responsibility. This is particularly so because our administration relies significantly on the public service for the implementation of all of our various policies, programs, and agendas. Although the Lagos State Public Service has a great reputation for competence among its peers, there's still a lot more to be done in order to continually raise the bar of professionalism, of service delivery, and to ensure that prompt, effective, and efficient delivery is the least that Lagosians deserve, so that we can meet up with global best practices. Given therefore the high expectation of our people, this is a task that the new head of service must completely dedicate himself to. Our administration recognizes the important role that the public service sector plays in the governance matrix and in the delivery of democracy to the people.
In his response, Mr. Agoro assured the governor, his predecessor, and his colleagues to live up to their expectations.
My greatest regard and respect to the governor of Lagos State for appointing me as the 32nd head of service. Thank you very much. I also wish to thank my predecessor in office, King Boy, as we call it in the body, King Boy, popularly known, for recommending me and for his smooth and efficient hard work. Thank you very much, sir. I want to thank my family members here present for your constant prayers and your support. To the Right Honorable Speaker, in the most distinguished House of Assembly in Nigeria, I thank you very much, sir, for taking your time out of your very busy schedule. The greatest public servants in Nigeria. To further promote your welfare, your working environment and conditions, and training across all areas. I believe with these 3 points, we'll get the very best out of you. And I'm sure you'll give us the 110%. We'll look after your welfare, we'll look after your working environment, and we'll make sure that you get robust training across all areas. As we all know, Mr. Governor loves is a welfareist. He loves public servants, and we can attest to all this with the numerous palliatives Mr. Governor has put in place.
And that brings us to the end from the Governor's Office segment on the City of Lagos TV show. We will keep you posted on fresh developments on the program. Thanks for watching.